and welcome back to Learn Linux TV. In today's video, what I'm going to do is tell you guys all about my trip to Raleigh, North Carolina, which is where All Things Open was held, and that's where I was, so what I'm going to do is tell you all about my trip. Now, if you've never heard of this event before, it's described on the event's website as a technology conference focusing on the tools, processes, and people making open source possible. And based on my recent experience, I'd say that's an accurate description. There's all kinds of open source related shenanigans at this event. As for me, I not only attended this conference, I also gave a 4-hour workshop on Ubuntu server, which was a ton of fun. In addition to that, I gave a few presentations of my own, and I also recorded footage for you guys, which is what you're going to see in this video. And speaking of this video, what I'm going to do is give you guys the All Things Open experience. I'm going to bring the conference right to you in this video because some of you might not have had a chance to attend this event, and that's a shame because you missed out on a lot of fun. But for those of you that weren't able to attend, maybe the footage in this video will give you an idea of what you might expect at this conference, and hopefully I'll see you there next time. And if nothing else, you'll see just how awesome this particular conference is as I go through my experience in today's video. So without any further hesitation, let's just dive right in and go through my experience at All Things Open 2022. I'm here at All Things Open. Let's go ahead and check it out. As I mentioned, All Things Open takes place in Raleigh, North Carolina, and when I arrived, I couldn't wait to get started covering this event. At first glance, it looks like your average IT conference. There's some awesome presentations from some very talented people, and countless exhibitors all over the venue. But as you experience All Things Open, you'll realize just how unique it actually is. There's so much passion around open source at this event, and you'll easily see that by how excited everyone is to talk about it. I arrived in Raleigh on the Saturday before the event, and since it was my first time in the area, I decided to explore the city a bit. And while I was walking around looking for Mexican food, I randomly stumbled across the Red Hat building. I mean, I knew it was there, but finding it on complete accident was a nice surprise. So that was my Saturday. The entire day I just walked around discovering various things, but on Sunday, that's when the event started. And to kick off the actual event, there were some amazing keynotes from some very talented people, and I really enjoyed them quite a bit. They gave talks that centered on inclusion and diversity in open source, which was awesome. Each of these presenters did a really great job. In fact, their keynotes are available on the official website for this conference if you want to check those out, and I highly recommend that you do.
In this talk, you'll hear me talk about Cisco's legacy and why that's important for our future, the social justice journey that Cisco has been on, and how we all can play a part in that. And then I'll give several examples of what happens in the world when inclusive innovation goes wrong, and what a future could look like when we get it right.
But according to Chang and Roisberg and their research for an article in the Harvard Business Review, successful organizations are fortifying their initiatives with a culture of learning. In essence, organizations that feel like a place of learning are the ones where employees are saying that they feel like they belong.
We need to recognize the importance of exclusivity in inclusivity. Specifically, that exclusivity can breed, by virtue of using small groups, inclusivity. The important part about this is that online support groups provide exclusive benefits to specific people. For instance, if you have trans men and trans women participating in a support group, they have a lot of commonalities, but it doesn't necessarily speak to their individual needs. Separating trans men and trans women in their support groups allows for the support groups to become units of change in and of themselves.
We're all committed to creating an environment where all of our Swift community members feel valued and supported. And so we've been hard at work on creating efforts and welcoming opportunities that do just that.
After the keynotes concluded, I joined a panel on the stage where we gave our viewpoints on the presentations that were given earlier, and we also answered audience questions as well.
So I think that something that everyone has in common is that there's something that they're passionate about. There's something that they want to do. Maybe it's a hobby, maybe it's work, and obviously we're here because open source is awesome, because that's what it is. But what I don't understand is why it's the situation where if you want to do something, that's not good enough. If you want to do something, you want to join a company, you want to get into a project and contribute to it, that doing it can, just getting out the door and doing it can be the hardest thing to do because there's people that are telling you that you can't. And that is not what we're trying to hear. And after a while, that can really bring you down. And how many people could have also been up here with us that would have been up here with us, but are now doing a job that they didn't want to do, that they're not passionate about because someone told them that they couldn't, and they were believed. And I think that's a big problem, a really big problem. But everyone that was here talking has persevered through that, and they've told stories about their experiences, their challenges, their desires, and their goals, and what they want to achieve. And they did it. And that's amazing, and I really appreciate that because I think everyone up here is setting an example for anyone out there that was ever told that they couldn't. And you know what? They're doing it.
I have to say, when it comes to talking in front of about 258 people, that's a very different experience compared to recording videos behind a camera. But my public speaking didn't stop there, though. I actually provided an entire workshop that lasted about 4 hours that went over Ubuntu Server, which was a lot of fun, and I also gave 2 talks of my own. The first of which was about RetroPie, that was pretty cool, and then I gave a talk on Linux myth-busting, which was a ton of fun. Last time I actually booted an Ubuntu instance, I got a message on my screen that says, "Printer detected, ready to print." Meanwhile, on Windows, you have to install the driver, the adware, the constant reminder about your toner cartridges that HP continually shoves down your throat. You know, you're laughing because it's true, right? Because you've seen that. And actually, I think it went over very well. Okay. Well, I guess that's it then. So a little 5 minutes to spare. Thank you. Appreciate it. After I was finished with the talks, the workshop, and all of that, I decided to walk around and grab some footage of the event. And that's when I realized you never know what you might run into when it comes to all things open. And speaking of surprises, when I was recording the intro for this video, I was actually photobombed by none other than Alex from Jupiter Broadcasting. I'm here at All Things Open. Let's go ahead and check it out.
You just never know.
It's not working right because I don't know the controls, but we should probably...
This is fun.
This is fun, isn't it?
What is this thing?
The gimbal?
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't seen that before?
No.
Yeah, this thing actually is a lot of fun. Look at this thing. Isn't that just so cool? I could just do this all day. I love this thing. Now, if you've been following my channel for some time now, then you're probably aware that I recently released my latest book, Mastering Ubuntu Server 4th Edition. And while I was there at the event, I actually had my very first book signing. You guys are awesome, by the way. You cleaned out my entire stock of books in just over 11 minutes. And I have to say, there's no better way to deliver a book than to hand it directly to my readers. Now, that's the best way to deliver a book. Anyway, back to the conference. There's so much going on at All Things Open that no one video can even do it justice. This event is definitely something that you should experience in person for sure. I'm very honored to have been invited to All Things Open, and this event actually happened right around the 1-year anniversary of Learn Linux TV becoming my only job. And some people have asked me to do a video on what that experience has been like over the past year, but in some ways I think All Things Open was a great way to celebrate it. So for me, that actually made this event even more special. Meeting my fans in person, especially after the pandemic had us holed up inside for so long, was awesome. And meeting new friends was even greater. I also had some fun conversations with some of the exhibitors as well, and what I've decided to do is make that its own dedicated video, which I should have uploaded very soon. And then near the end of the event, I had a conversation with Todd, who was managing this event, and we had a pretty fun conversation.
We knew about you before you got here, before you actually spoke, and we got to know you via your YouTube videos. We had watched a bunch of them, us along with hundreds of thousands of other people.
Yeah.
So we were fans before you ever got to ATO. So, you know, we get this question all the time. What's the secret to a successful YouTube video?
The short answer is passion. You can't fake it. If you like it, you like it. right? So if you're doing something that you like, it shows.
They're looking at it from the outside. They think, wow, it must be great to be that person.
Right.
They had success immediately. Wow, they were lucky. But in fact, that person, in reality, if the truth were told, has actually been working at something really a long time, a good number of years in most cases. So I guess passion, maybe there's a correlation to time, and some things just take time to build out.
Really, yeah, totally. And I feel like if you're working on any passion project, time doesn't exist. I don't care if you're a painter and you're working on your next painting, or you're molding pots or something like that out of clay. You're happy in the moment. And when you're in the moment, time doesn't exist anymore because it's just you and that thing that you're doing.
Really interesting. Well, I would encourage everyone listening to go check you out.
Thank you.
Again, you've been great here, and our community's reception to you has been phenomenal. It's been off the charts.
Wow, cool.
So thank you for speaking. Thank you for joining us.
So as you can see, I had a ton of fun at All Things Open. But my coverage of this event isn't over yet. I have at least 2 more videos coming. One of them is actually a complete recording of my Linux myth-busting session, and then the other one is going to be all about the exhibitors that I spoke to at the event, so you should expect those videos to be uploaded very soon. With that said, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again very soon.